Other shows on the station?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Civil. I don't think that's updated again. So just go over that.
You know what? I'm gonna do one better. I know how to go to a website.
I got it. I got it. I can give
Oh, you know what? Send it to me. I'll play it.
I can send it to you all the time.
Send it to me. I'll play it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that'll help.
I'm gonna send it to you
All right, thank you.
Let's go, Freebird, 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 Freebird.
What's going on, y'all?
When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Ball is getting hit.
That's it.
It's gonna be football now.
Oh, look at Dee. Hey, sweetie. I didn't think you were coming.
We're talking about the Jets, like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, I know we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah.
Is it under music or playlist event? Program.
Right back. 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. Program. All right, Shiloh Radio. On the programs, I got Donnie McClurkin, Excellent Living, Gene Moore, Gospel Tracks, Greater St. Matthews, Low. All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Throwback Thursday, and I had to get her in quick. She done jumped in the car. She can hit the roller streets. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Indiana, it is none other than multiple-time basketball champion, Sister Dee Williams. What's going on, birthday girl?
Oh, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you is the question.
I'm good. Had a good birthday, so.
All right, what number one? How many times you been around the sun?
28.
You ain't no 28. Quit playing.
Yeah, 28.
You old enough to be one of my younger children. Dee, I had to get you on real quick. I know you got to go. The Big Ten canceled all fall sports. You played in the Big Ten. Tell us what this means and what it meant to you when you heard it, that the Big Ten was canceling all fall sports.
I honestly think when I heard it, I thought it was a great idea just because, again, as you know, as I stated in the last show, we just have no clue what's going to go on with COVID. And so I think it's very smart to just, kind of wait, figure it out, and then get back to playing. Basketball's always going to be there. Football is always going to be there. Sports are always going to be there, but people's lives are way more important than, a sport. So I think it's a good step. And hopefully, good things come out of it. But I think it's a good step, for the Big Ten, because I just think that they're keeping people safe.
We got Dee Williams. She's a assistant basketball coach at South Carolina State HBCU school, but she played her high school basketball in Indiana, won championship there. She won Big Ten championships at Purdue, and even won. Where were you over in Mongolia? Yes. And you won a championship there as well. There are people that are saying by the Big Ten not playing, those towns that have schools are going to lose tons of money. And for that reason alone, the Big Ten and Pac-12 should be playing their fall sports. What do you say to that?
Again, unfortunately, the world is driven by money. And I almost just think it's inhumane to even think that is a reason why people would want people to put their lives at risk, is because schools are going to lose a lot of money. Just like they were able to build the base that they have when it comes to money, it'll be rebuilt. The Big 10, Big 12, they're prominent big conferences. So them losing, some money, I feel is not ever going to compare to somebody's life being lost.
Yeah, we got Dee Williams. She is a assistant basketball coach on the collegiate level. We had a football coach that we played his clip, Scott Frost, head football coach at Nebraska. And he started talking about that the kids will be better taken care of on campus, being tested regularly, getting the nutrition, working out and stuff like that. Put your coach hat on now and think about the kids that are on your team. Are there some that would still be better served on campus on campus and playing than at home doing whatever they would do during this off time?
Well, I mean, for anybody, of course, because you never know anybody's home situation. And I was talking to actually a coach, one of the football coaches at South Carolina State. And, it's unfortunate because you never know somebody's home situation. You never know what they're going through at home. And so sometimes school, being away from home, is their outlet or is a better place for them to be. So unfortunately, you have to try to think about those things as well. But it's almost tough because I feel you can have so many protocols in place for student athletes, but what are you going to do for the student body? Student athletes are going to commingle with with the regular student body or the
right.
students. And
right.
You can be testing student athletes all day, every day, 5 times a day. But if you're not doing that same thing for, students, it's kind of moving backwards because you don't know where all those students have come from, who they've been around. And if they're not being tested regularly, you never know, if that can be passed on to one of the student athletes and the student athlete passing on to a whole team. So it like I say, it goes back and forth. You think like, yes, we want our student athletes back on campus. We want them to build that team bonding. If we can't get on the court, we can do other things. But then in the same sense, it's just what protocols are in place to make sure everybody, including students, are safe.
Yeah, again, Coach Dee Williams joining us here on the lunch break. She is a assistant basketball coach at South Carolina State University, HBCU school. Appreciate you giving back to the sisters over there at South Carolina State. The coach in question, and I'm not trying to pit you against him, I'm just using him as an example, was saying that if the kids can walk around campus and go to class, why can't they play football? I think that's a flawed argument. You're not bumping and grinding with other players, sweating on them and all that for 3 hours when you're walking around campus. Why don't coaches understand the difference between being in a store or being on campus and being on a football field for a couple of hours?
Again, I just kind of feel like it's people putting their own experiences, their own thoughts onto the the issue when it's and not thinking about it in a whole. So walking, kids walking to class, we can stay 6 feet away. We can sit 6 feet away. We can put up barriers, like they've been doing in certain restaurants and different, places. There's certain things that you can put into place to kind of help, help people not, contract it. When it comes to sports and football, you have no control. Everybody's following the ball, basically. Trying to protect the goal or the court. And so the way that if you're a student athlete, most of the time you're a competitor. So you're not going to try to stay 6 feet away from somebody if you have to tackle them to keep them from scoring. So, I mean, I don't even think that's really able to be compared to students, walking to class together or being in a classroom, because there's certain things that you can put into place. Whereas in sports, most of the time, it's kind of, you have to kind of be on, on the, what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of like on the fly the whole time.
Yeah, I got you. Now, again, I know you got to go, but let me ask you this. You're a player at Purdue like you were before. And I tell you that there is a chance you might get this infectious disease, but it's not as prevalent in young people like yourself. Chances are if you get it, it'll be like a cold. You can fight it off. but we're finding out that you might have long-term heart conditions. Do you still want to play? Because if you still want to play, we want to have you, and we're gonna rally around whoever's on the team. What are you gonna say, Dee?
Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to do it because I just feel my life is more important. If you really want me and really believe in my ability, I think once we figure out what's going on with COVID, once we figure out if there's going to be a vaccination or something that can possibly help me if I was to contract it, then okay. But until then, I can't, because even if I was to contract it, now I'm quarantined by myself. I can't be around my family. Then, it's now, and so now I'm sitting here in my own thinking about dying in a sense, it could possibly kill me. And so as an athlete, I don't think I would do it, especially if I have any underlying conditions that, may make it worse or possibly lose my life. I don't believe I would do it.
Dee Williams, I know you got to go. Thank you. Happy belated birthday to you. We celebrated on your day. And you be safe out there. And if you get any great updates from South Carolina State, hit me back so we can get you back on, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank y'all. Dee Williams, multiple-time basketball champ. You be safe out there, okay?
You too.
All right, y'all. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back and break down what she had to say right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
I'm going to tell you how you can get real health insurance for as little as $6 a day. Yes, now you can get affordable health insurance for you and your family immediately, starting at just $6 a day. And coverage is guaranteed regardless of your medical condition. That's right, for about $6 a day, you can have guaranteed health insurance. And there's dental, vision, and prescription coverage too. You owe it to yourself and your family to make this free call right now and learn more. There are no deductibles, no waiting period, no contracts, and coverage is guaranteed. Call National Health right now for your risk-free guaranteed health insurance quote starting at just $6 a day. Call now.
800-797-0921. 800-797-0921. 800-797-0921. That's 800-797-0921. Paid for by GoHealth.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
I'm Linda J. We all know Election Day is just around the corner. We want change. We need change. We can be the change. Exercise your right for change on Election Day. Don't talk about it. Let's be about it. So let's roll to the polls in record numbers, and we can make that change. This message is approved by KYOK 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOKradio.org.
Okay, perfect. And I'll what? Yes, ma'am.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
I'm Ben Tankett, and you are listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It's Throwback Thursday, and I had to get Dee Williams on real quick. Earlier today, the school called and was going to get them on a Zoom conference call, so she was not going to be able to join us. So I promised her that if she got on right at the top of the hour, we would go straight to her and, just kind of get right to some of the questions that I wanted to ask her. And I appreciate her coming on. And she just celebrated her 28th birthday yesterday. So for those of you who are following her, and I appreciate y'all doing that, be sure and wish her a happy birthday. Celebrate the rest of the week with her. But she brings up good points. Listen, I know folks will say, well, women's college basketball, AJ, is nothing like college football, which brings in millions of dollars and it supports other non-revenue generating sports like women's college basketball. What you got to understand is this: Dee Williams is a coach of the very people that you're talking about putting their health and their safety at risk to help generate that money. Dee Williams was one of those players who would have put their health at risk in the Big Ten so that that money could be made. And don't let me forget, so that we could be entertained. So that being said, she's a very credible person to talk about not just the cost of playing or not playing, but the overall safety of the student athletes. And I'm going to use that phrase because y'all tell us they're student athletes when they want to get paid, but then there's something else when you want them to play, and then there's something else when you want them to make decisions that you want them to make. They're student athletes. We're going to go with that. They don't have a union. They're not getting paid. They're student athletes. They would not be at practice if it wasn't for the athlete part, and they wouldn't be in school if it wasn't for the student part. So I'm going to call them what y'all like to call them when it fits your narrative. They're student athletes. And I'm sorry. Everybody is giving the Big 12 and the SEC and the ACC a victory lap. I mean, just woohoo! They stepped up and decided, and they're going to play, and we're going to have football. Okay. I hope you're right. I hope for your sake and the sake of somebody else's child that you're not wrong. I hope so, because I don't want to hear it. Yeah, but only 1% of the cases result in death. 1% of somebody else's child is 100% painful. If 1% out of all the children, young people, student athletes in college football get sick, then that's too many. And Dee Williams brought up some good points. You got to look at the overall safety, and I applaud the Big Ten and the Pac-12 for looking at things like the long-term health effect of COVID-19, the long term. Yeah, they might get over it today and they might finish out the football season. But what about the heart condition that they deal with long term? I wish I had Todd on here right now. Todd found a report about a study of 100 athletes who tested positive for COVID-19 and recovered the long-term effects of a heart condition that they found overseas. And, oh yeah, by the way, just because it's overseas doesn't mean it's going to stay overseas. Remember, COVID-19 found its way to the United States? I'm going to go a little deeper into this because here's what it boils down to. It boils down to the fact that the United States of America has allowed these small college towns and large conferences interweave their sports into the foundation of their and our economy. Let that sink in for a second. This all boils down to the fact that Tuscaloosa, Norman, Austin to some degree, Gainesville, wherever Clemson is, wherever Columbus and other areas, literally the bulk, if not all of their economy is tied to sports. And I'm sorry, I don't know if that's those kids' fault who now have to get out there on the field and play so that Tuscaloosa, Norman, Stillwater, Austin, Bryan College Station, Gainesville, wherever Clemson is, wherever Nebraska is, Lincoln, so that their economy can be saved. I don't know if that's those kids' fault or responsibility because that's the way we allowed it to be set up. I know that sounds crazy coming from a sports broadcaster, but let me just tell you, I am going to be as honest as possible as opposed to just being a sports head. I mean, I can bring on all kinds of guests that will tell me how great it is that these kids have an opportunity to play and how their lives are different and how, they can take care of their families and all of that. Can talk about the importance of the money that it will mean for a small town like Tuscaloosa, small town like Auburn, small town like Athens, Georgia, small town like Gainesville, Florida, what that will mean. But at the end of the day, is that their fault? They didn't set this up. They didn't build this. So why is it all about them maintaining a situation that should be a wake-up call to us? Hey, wait a minute. We can't have our whole economy tied to sports that one day might not be able to be played. It's a coronavirus today. What if it's a flesh-eating virus tomorrow? What if it's radiation from the sun the next day? Something that literally you can't go outside and do. How will the economy survive if we can't play sports in the Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, and SEC? And then somebody even had the nerve to celebrate Conference USA and the AAC and all that. Are you kidding me? And no, it's not just like them possibly getting hurt, pulling a hamstring or tearing an ACL. It's far from the same thing. This should be a wake-up call. This should be how can we generate revenue in our economies without having to depend on sports? For Christ's sake, every now and then, even a baby will put their own bottle down and say, yo, I want to drink out the cup you're drinking. I don't want all my source of nutrients to come from this thing with a nipple on the end of it. But no, it's what we're used to. It's what we're used to. It is what we're used to, so it's got to be that. We don't want to pay the players because we never did that before. We don't want to let them use their own image and likeness or names. I mean, we never done that before. It's going to ruin the game. And oh yeah, they got to play during a global pandemic. Why? Because Stillwater, or Lincoln, Nebraska, or Tuscaloosa, Alabama, they need it. The economies are dependent. Can you know how many people will be out of work if they don't play football? Okay. So diversify your economy. Let me get this phone call after this break. Caller, stay right there. I'll come back to you after the break. 281-453-1000 if you want to get in. 281-453-1000. It's the lunch break. Again, I want to thank Dee Williams, assistant basketball coach at South Carolina State and former Big Ten champ at Purdue. Also won state championships in high school in Indianapolis and won championship overseas with Mongolia. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break.
We love you.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Radio stations in one.
You're home. You're a diabetic. You need supplies, but you don't want to visit the pharmacy. What do? Call US Med for home delivery of your supplies. If you have diabetes and you're worried about going to a crowded pharmacy, pick up the phone in the safety and comfort of your home and let US Med deliver them to you with free shipping. And now if you test your blood sugar 4 more times a day and inject insulin 3 or more times a day, you may qualify to get a new continuous glucose monitor at little or no cost, which may eliminate the pain of pricking your fingers and helps you make smarter diabetes decisions. Plus, we'll send you a 90-day supply and bill your insurance company for you. Get some peace of mind. Call US Med today.
800-417-0851. 800-417-0851. That's 800-417-0851.
How'd you like to eliminate your expensive cable bill forever or get new satellite internet where cable can't go? Well, now you can have affordable satellite internet service for a few dollars a day. All you need is a mini satellite installed, and you can have unlimited internet connections wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill.
800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. That's 800-712-8044.
Hi, I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
I'm Ben Tankett, and you are listening to The Lunch Break.
Man, every time I hear that commercial, I'm just like, I have got to call into that thing. The Not So Christian in Me radio show, man, that's right up my alley. Because, baby, woo, I'm so glad that my thoughts don't show on my face. Like, you know, I say one thing, but my real thoughts start scrolling across my forehead. I would lose tons of jobs. I would. Hello, you're live on a lunch break. Who's this?
Hey, Jay, it's Todd.
Hey, Todd, what's going on, man?
I tagged you in their study on Twitter.
Okay. All right, let me get it. While I'm getting that, did you see the deal at Florida State that wide receivers are challenging the way that the school is handling coronavirus? One of the wide receivers posted that they had tested positive for coronavirus, and somebody took it down. And they are the school, Florida State, has not reported any positive tests, but the student athletes are saying we've had quite a few positive tests.
No, I hadn't seen that one. That's bad. I can't even imagine that.
And this young man posted his own results, and somebody took it down.
Wow. Man, I'm speechless on that one. I haven't seen that yet, the story on that. But, man, I don't know how school would be that dumb to getting positive tests and not reporting it, try to press forward, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, I got this article. German coronavirus studies identify heart issues in COVID-19 cases. New studies from Germany revealed heart inflammation in recovered coronavirus patients and virus presence in the hearts of those who died from the disease. I mean, dog, for real. All joking aside, what? I mean, wait, what?
Yeah, and it says here, one observation study involved 100 patients with recent COVID-19 illness. This is what I was talking about the other day. Cardiac, magnetic, resonance CMR imaging revealed cardiac involvement in 78 patients, heart muscle inflammation in 60 patients, independent of pre-existing conditions.
Right, that part right there, independent of pre-existing conditions. So these are directly tied to catching COVID-19.
Yep. Yeah, didn't have any heart problems that they knew of beforehand. That's a high number, man.
Bruh, I keep telling you, 100 people is like 10 players on each team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, when you really look at that, 100 people, 78 patients, heart muscle inflammation, 60 patients, independent of pre-existing conditions. That's a real high number.
Bruh, I'm just telling you. Folks look at that, no, that's only 100 patients. I need to see more evidence. Okay, all right. We need to see more evidence that it's safe to play, but nobody's saying that. Everybody's talking about doing what we need to do. And Todd, that's why I'm pointing out what this all boils down to. I'm going to quit playing with it, man. Stop with the lip service. Stop with the we care about the players. Stop with the we care. LSU is taking victory laps on how stringent their testing is for COVID-19. How many players did they have test positive at the beginning of the workouts? Something like 40-something players. You're not taking no victory lap now, are you?
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, but I think that study I shared with you, it speaks to why the Big Ten and the Pac-12 shut it down.
Right.
But here's what I don't get. The Big Ten is proposing an 8-game spring schedule followed up by a 10-game fall schedule, right?
Yep.
So that's what I read from something Purdue posted. So what's going to be the difference in the spring?
But Todd, it's literally what folks are giving the SEC and the Big 12 and the ACC credit for. Now, let me leave the ACC out because they trying to kick off now. They trying to go like the first week of September. They trying to kick off. I'm talking about the conferences that have at least bought a little more time. They're literally saying that while we're saying we're going to move ahead and while we're saying we're going to play these games, we are literally giving ourselves time to see what it's going to look like then. So when the Big Ten and the Pac-12 say we're going to play an 8-game spring schedule and then jump into our fall schedule after that, 10, 12 games, whatever it's going to be, they're saying that's not locked in stone. That's if everything is safe and the players can be safe then as well. They're not. I can't give the Big Ten and the Pac-12. I'm getting them all mixed up now. I can't give the Big 12 the SEC credit and then not give the Big Ten and Pac-12 credit for buying themselves some time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you fast forward to the spring, I don't know. I just don't see what the difference is. If you put like the Big Ten and Pac-12, you pushed it back. What's really going to change in the spring?
We don't know. We don't know. I mean, you got a whole president that's trying to tell everybody that there'll be a vaccine out by the end of the year, by November, December. You got a whole country over in Russia that's saying we got a vaccine now. So, if a vaccine comes and the players want to take it or do take it or the majority of them take it and they can minimize the amount of spread of COVID-19, then yeah, they're gonna play because again, it boils down to the money. It's hard for these colleges and universities to walk away from tens of, if not hundreds of millions of dollars because their economies depend on it.
I think more realistic for the spring, let's just say it was safe, right? Let's just hypothetically say it was safe. It was. I don't know if you're going to be able to convince these guys. 8 games plus 10. That's 18 games in a pretty short period of time. You'll have quite a few that may want to do it to get some film if they're trying to go to the NFL. I think you'd have better luck convince them maybe do a 5 or 6, maybe me closer to 4 or 5. Get some game tape for them, before the draft. Try to help them that way. Because I think there's a lot of guys that want that game tape.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I say there's so much that they can do between now and then. And let's not overlook one of the bigger issues. I think Willie Gibson brought it up, or maybe it was you that said, the biggest fact of the matter is that these conferences were ill prepared. They literally got right up to the door of kickoff thinking that it was going to be business as usual, and did not have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. I mean, canceling the season or postponing the season should have been plan Z. But many of them didn't listening to whoever they were listening to, think that they needed to make any changes. And guess what? I think the NFL is heading down the exact same path.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It'll be interesting as we get closer to the start. I'm curious if there's going to be more college players opt out. I know last couple of days, a couple of Texas Longhorn players opted out. But I think as it gets up to it, you might have some players get a little bit more uneasy about it. We'll see. We'll see, man.
I mean, Todd, we've said this before. Players talk. So whether the schools are releasing valid numbers or not, the players talk. So whether Florida State wants to admit that they got 20 valid or confirmed COVID-19 tests, the players talk. So when they start hearing that information, across the country, it makes them start to think, well, why am I doing this myself? And again, these players have families they got to go home to. They're not going to be in a bubble. They're not going to be in any kind of safe environment. Jerry Jones should have got. You ever play the thump game where you pull your finger back and you thump somebody's knuckles real hard and try and make somebody tap out? Jerry Jones should have got thumped dead on his forehead. Literally released a report that they are working on their own bubble for training camp. One important noticeable piece: it is not mandatory for the players to stay at the hotel. How the Hades is that a bubble?
Yeah, it's not a bubble.
You just want the news cycle. That's all you want. You want to have something in the news. So, I mean, again, the hypocrisy's got to be called out. The truth of what people are actually saying has got to be called out. And that's why I say it's just about the money. And let's quit trying to pretend that the kids matter. Yeah, true. You don't want anybody to die. You don't want anybody to have long-term conditions. But your number one goal for playing these games is for the money.
Let's put an outside of the box scenario together, right?
Yep.
What is another way you can get film? I thought about this just while you were talking. So, like in the spring, they always have an inter-squad game, right?
Yeah.
You play against each other. And I think a legitimate concern of playing against another team, let's say Texas was supposed to play Florida State, right?
Yeah.
And the Texas players hear that Florida State is covering up positive tests, right?
Yep.
They'd be like, man, I'm not playing against them.
Yep.
I've talked to some guys over there. They said they got COVID and they're not releasing it.
Yep.
But let's say the Texas players feel like Texas is taking care of them the best they can, right?
Yeah. They
feel confident amongst their own guys that, one of their own teammates would tell them if they did positive. Why not just do some inter-squad, like spring games, to get that same kind of film the scouts to see?
And Todd, it could happen. It really could happen. Or, they can do their own conference combines. There's a lot of things that they can do. They can do pro days where, the guys never leave the facility. That could legitimately be a safe place. It is not just about the school having a safe place. It's when you get on the plane and you travel and you use different bathrooms and you come into contact with different kind of people that you don't even think about when you go through from an airplane to some type of transportation to a hotel from there to a field or workout facility, from there to a locker room, from there to the game, play the game, and then go back to that locker room and then go back through the whole cycle in reverse. There's so many places where somebody can be infected, and it has nothing to do with the cleanliness of the school. So if that be the case, then why not hold, like you said, some kind of inter-squad workout or conference combines or something like that, conference pro days where you give these kids a chance. But again, it boils down to the money. You don't make no money off of that. That's for the kids. That's not for the programs. Todd, stay there. Let me do a quick break. I'll come back with more. Todd Malcolm here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. What am I missing?
3 FM, the legendary KYOK.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. That's 800-780-1431.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. That's 800-308-6729. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
Again I say unto you, if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything, it shall be done for them by my Father who is in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Matthew 18:19 and 20. That's the gospel. And we're KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Hi, this is Sonia from Southeast Houston, and you're listening to The Lunch Break on 92.3 and KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and it is our Throwback Thursday. Let me throw it back over to Todd. Todd, sorry about that, having to jump in there and pay these bills. But, yeah, man, again, bro, I hear, folks are starting to talk about, they're going to play 8 spring games, and then they're going to play, 10 or 12 regular season games, fall games after that, all in the same year. Bro, that is the least, seriously, the least of the worries right now when you look at the long-term effect or the, any kind of effect COVID-19 can have. And again, that's almost like, the shell game, like you're trying to, and I'm not talking about you, but folks are trying to divert the attention away from what they're trying to do right now to what those conferences may try to do later. And again, they're options, man. If they really are concerned about the kids, there's ways to get game film for the kids. There's ways to do it. That won't generate the revenue that the schools and those towns need, though, and that's at the end of the day why people are pushing so hard to play.
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand why they're trying to push it because of the revenue. We'll see, man. And we'll see once we get mid-September how likelihood. I still feel at the end of the day, once it gets closer, there's going to be some doctor with those other conferences. They're going to tell them to shut it down.
And you know what? And you might be right. And that's why I told Keith and Willie Gibson, they're going to kick off. Those conferences are going to kick off in September. Now, whether they play through October, November, and December, that's a whole nother story. But they're going to kick off in September. And my question to you would be, Longhorn fan, Big 12 fan, what would it take for you to say, y'all got to shut this down after they kick off?
After they kick off, there's got to be some sort of outbreak on the team. I mean, if they kick off, right, and from what I understand, Texas, if this is accurate, that they haven't had a positive test in a month, let's just assume that's accurate, right?
Yeah.
Let's say they kick off, and let's say after going to Texas Tech, right? After going to Lubbock, they come back. Let's say 10 players now have COVID, right?
Yep.
Just the travel, going to Lubbock, like you said earlier, being in someone else's locker room, you don't even know how clean it is. Come back, you got 10 Texas Longhorns players who got it. They're going to shut it down right after that. It'll be a wrap. It would be some sort of outbreak like that.
But let me ask you this: how many outbreaks did UT have this quote unquote off season?
Man, I can't remember the numbers. When they started doing strength training, I can't remember. They had some guys get it, right?
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it was somewhere between 20 and 30, right?
I think when they first started, when they started the strength and conditioning program, I think that sounds about right, AJ.
Did they shut down then?
No, they didn't. I think they just quarantined them.
So that's my point. I feel like if LSU didn't shut down and they were close to 40, if Clemson didn't shut down, they were close to 40. I think Rutgers was the only school that I hear about that tried to practice. They had big outbreak and they shut everything down. But Keith Hennig said he thought it was 22 at UT. So if that's not enough to make them shut down practice, drills, workouts, now you're getting money in the door. Now you can look in the bank account and see, well, we had 22 cases, but we made $22 million for that Texas Tech game. Bruh, they're going to play. They're going to play. It's literally going to take somebody else telling them that they have to shut down because it's going to be hard for them to do it to themselves.
The Big 12 commissioner, Bob Bowlesby, right?
Yeah.
He claims that the medical opinions that they're getting, the Big 12 supposedly relying on them to say, hey, when we need to shut it down. So they're saying that the medical experts that the Big 12 is using will say, hey, you're in danger zone, you need to start doing this. And then supposedly the Big 12 is saying they're relying on them if they need to completely shut it down or not. That's what he said in his press conference. I don't know, it wasn't yesterday, I think it was the day before, but supposedly that is the protocol, is that if the medical doctors come back and say, hey, you got danger ahead, y'all need to start doing this, and then it's supposedly if you cross that line, then the medical doctors will tell them, hey, you need to shut it down altogether.
Todd. How tall are you, Todd?
6 foot.
You might as well be 6'8" if you believe that. You might as well just start telling people you 6'8" minus 8 if you gonna believe that. I'm just saying. Hey, let me change gears real quick. Got word today that Russell Westbrook is going to miss at least the start of the Rockets playoff series, and it looks like they're going to play OKC in the opening round of the playoffs. Of course, all the locals. Oh yeah, Rockets got no problem beating Oklahoma City even without Westbrook. Be somebody on the outside looking in and tell me, do the Rockets have something to be concerned about?
It's funny you brought that up. I did see that story on Twitter earlier today. Even with a healthy Russell Westbrook, I got the Thunder in this series. I got the Thunder winning this series. 2 reasons. Number one, I think they play better team ball together, and I think Chris Paul is going to be fired up in the series. But I got the Thunder. I got the Thunder winning this series, even if Westbrook was healthy.
I'm telling you, man, all of the lower seeds in the West have a legitimate shot to win their first round matchups, and that's bar none. I'm telling you, the Lakers are going to have their hands full with Portland, round 1. The Clippers are going to have their hands full with Dallas, round 1. Now, they might beat them 4-2 or 4-1 or something like that, but that don't mean that they didn't have their hands full with them. And Denver's going to have their hands full with Utah. And baby, I'm telling you, okay, Rocket fans, all right. And I'm a Rocket fan now. Don't throw me in the hater category. I'm being realistic. This is like when the Saints play the Cowboys. I always have this feeling that the Saints, I don't care what their record is, they're gonna find a way to lose to the Cowboys. I really think the Rockets, minus Westbrook, who is their best defender with a G by their name, and I'm talking about guard. Mm-hmm. Without him, okay.
Yes, I like the Thunder, and so here's why the lower seeds can win too. There's no home court advantage.
Right.
There's no fans, so even if you are the first, second, third seed, it doesn't matter if it goes 7 because that 7th game is not in front of your home fans.
Right.
So it's really, that's why I think a lot of people, if they're not really thinking on another level of this, that's why these other seeds can have a better chance of winning normally than going into a game 7 like at going to the Staples Center, or that's intimidating crowd or something like that. That's not going to happen here. No, but I like the Thunder. I like the way the Thunder play. I don't know. I just don't trust the Rockets. For some reason, James Harden is a phenomenal player. No one can ever question that.
Yep.
Just thinking a game 6, he's that system. I don't believe in it. I don't believe it wins a championship. Fun to watch, but I just don't believe it wins a championship. I think they're going to get into a matchup in the playoffs where that lack of height or no height is, going to play. First round, you're going to go in Steven Adams.
Yep.
You're going to keep him off the board.
Yep. I'll just say this: Harden and Steph Curry, great players, future Hall of Famers. Yep. I don't know if they have what it takes to lead their teams by themselves, carry them to a championship. And without Westbrook, and without a healthy Eric Gordon, and without those other guys stepping up, Harden can score 60. Don't mean they're going to win.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about what I've seen now. You can try to convince me everything. I have not seen it. So, again, Westbrook out for that first playoff series. The Rockets might be out for that first playoff series.
And I told you, man, Chris Paul going to be fired up because I don't think Chris Paul left on the best of terms.
Yeah.
They kind of just, I remember, what was it? Let's see, Daryl Morey, I remember tweeting and said, Chris Paul hadn't asked for a trade. And then, 2 days later, he was up and out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at the schedule. When does the playoffs start?
So the last game for the Rockets is tomorrow. Then they got that play-in games, Saturday? I think the playoffs start either Sunday or Monday.
Okay, no, I can't wait for that. I'm ready for that matchup. But no, that's it says so the Rockets will be out Westbrook to start the postseason. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say how many games he'll be out, but that's obviously a huge loss, depending how long he's going to be out for.
8-10. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And right now we don't know. So as soon as we know, we'll go from there. Todd, I appreciate you, brother. Be safe out there.
All right, man. Have a good one, AJ.
All right, you too. I know I got another caller holding. Caller, stay right there. We got to get to Sybil Wilkes with her update on COVID-19. We'll do that, and then we'll come back with more calls. And then we got another special guest that'll be joining us in the second hour of the lunch break here on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Again, it is the lunch break, and it is our let me borrow that box you got right there. Y'all, live radio right here. I got a contraption in here that I need. Where is there? It is. Anyway, but we want to get our special guests in. We want you, the callers, to get in. We want to get it all today on Throwback Thursday. So callers, stay right there. Don't go anywhere. Let me hit this update with Sybil Wilkes, and then we'll be right back with more right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today about the coronavirus. As Texas soars past 500,000 COVID-19 cases, state leaders are redoubling their efforts to get residents to wear masks and practice social distancing. Texas ranks in the top 5 states in the country with the most coronavirus cases. After news of Russia's claim to have approved a coronavirus vaccine for use, infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci expressed serious doubts about the vaccine's safety and effectiveness. The World Health Organization said it is in touch with Russian scientists and looks forward to reviewing details of the trials. Steinmart has fallen to the economic hardship caused by the pandemic. The 112-year-old discount retailer, which began operations in Mississippi, announced it will begin liquidation sales immediately and is considering selling its website and intellectual property. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
Hey, what's going on? This is Lecrae, and right now you're listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. Want to thank Sybil Wilkes for that COVID-19 update. Let me go to the phone line. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Hey, Jay, it's Keith again, man. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, Keith. Sorry to have you holding so long, bro. I appreciate you.
Oh, man, you're totally fine, bro. Hey, as always, great spirited conversation, but I want to really dive into kind of what we talked about yesterday, and more importantly, what you bring up today highlights exactly what we were discussing yesterday in regards to the NCAA has lost complete control, and it's not because they have lost complete control. And if anyone is paying attention, and we all should be, the covers have been peeled off of a lot of things, and we talked about this, but you got to understand, if they don't get leadership, and that's independent leadership outside of the Power 5 conference presidents, this will continue to happen. And let me just share it with you. I think it's so important that right now the players at all institutions will start to talk amongst themselves to build a coalition.
Yep.
And similar to the NFL, and have a players association.
Yep.
And then, and most importantly, they should then ask Congress, because right now, until they get an independent body to lead to ensure that the NCAA is going to follow the rules, especially the Power 5 schools, I think they need to have Congress to step in immediately, because let's face it, you've got a president telling players to go play football, we need to have football, but yet no one is telling the players or asking the universities, or more importantly, asking the coaches, are you going to take a pay cut?
Yep.
Because obviously we're losing money.
Yep.
And nobody's doing that.
Yeah, up in Michigan, because they're state employees, Juwan Howard and Harbaugh took 10% pay cuts. Now, again, I'm 10% of millions, but my point is, that's not across the board. Dabo Swinney ain't running up saying, here, take my money. I don't need that. I just want to play. Nick Saban ain't saying, here, take my money. I just want to play. And that's my thing. It boils down to the money that these schools, these players, and these athletes are going to generate for these schools and for their communities. And it's time to quit avoiding that. It's not about these kids. It's about that money. Stay right there for me real quick.
And 92.3 FM, K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is our Throwback Thursday. Let me go back to Keith. Very good conversation again, Keith. Sorry to cut you off. Had to get that top of the hour idea in.
No, you're totally fine, man. And to that point, I think until someone steps in and assures the American people, and more importantly, assures the student athletes that there will be an independent body of government officials or whomever that's going to oversee of the testing that takes place. These players should never strap up, and I hate to say that. By the way, I gotta give you a couple of jabs, man. You were jabbing real hard at my school and my coach yesterday after I got off the line with you.
Hey, man! I'm trying to find out. How I can help your boy get his ring and his banner and stuff like that, man. If they go 5-1, you better throw something up on that wall. You better throw something on your finger and rock it like you love it. You hear me?
Man, I was laughing so hard at you yesterday. I couldn't be mad at you, bro. But it's interesting though, man. It's like I literally and this is what's interesting at Florida State is this is not the first incident that has taken place in this off season, right? You had a local kid who now he played at Episcopal, Wilson. He's going to be a first round pick, but he had to call the coach out for lying. Like he told him you didn't speak to us about the social injustice. And now all of a sudden you got this incident coming out. So you really got to start to dig and say, look, man, what independent counsel or what I mean, and literally at this point, the way I feel about it, because they're talking about kicking off in a few weeks, is I hate to do this, man, but I just think that Congress or somebody needs to summon these presidents and say, listen, how do we know that your coaches, because as you know, they're making millions of dollars and they want to keep their jobs and a lot of recruits. How do we know your coaches aren't covering up COVID tests? Because all it takes is one player to lose his life, and then all of a sudden we gotta have all of these independent studies, and we're gonna bring everybody to Congress, and we're gonna have these questions, and that's just a bunch of hogwash. I mean, it really that report today, and I'm glad you brought it up, man, because I saw that. And I was just like, man, again at Florida State. And how much longer are we as fans are going to continue to go, oh, they really do want the players to play? Yeah, the players want to play, but I think they want to play in an environment where people that they know will have their back and that they trust will do the right thing by them. And right now, it don't look like they are.
I agree with you on everything that you said. Let me go back to something that you said, though, that somebody in Congress should – oversee and make sure that things are being done right. I don't know if this Congress will do it. I really don't. It's so divided up there right now where there are people that literally want to make the president look good, so they're going to deny that there's even a problem. And then you got people that literally want to make the president look bad, and they'll try to make the problem look worse than it actually is. So I'm with you. That's where it should be. But if it's not going to be there, there's got to be a group that comes into play and looks out for the well-being of these kids, because I'm serious, man. I don't know why. For me, all I'm hearing is when they get to the money, oh, it's $100 million for this school. It's $300 million for this city and all of that. And it's like, I get it, but it's not these kids' fault that you built the entire economy around this country and those cities on sports, which may not be able to be played.
Well, and AJ, to your point, and I want to be clear on this, I'm not requesting, that's not my first request, but at this particular point, with the sense of urgency that we have for the players to kick off in a few weeks, somebody outside of those Power 5 conferences, and because basically they're running the money, right? So, but somebody who is higher than them, and because we don't have a leadership in place they've got to come in and say, man, we've got to take a look at what y'all are doing, because it doesn't sound like this is gonna be ran properly. Let me give you another example, right? So in the FCC, they contracted, all the schools got together and they contracted with one organization to do the testing for all those schools. And I don't want to get into it right now, but I find it interesting that, you know, you can call your brother who's in the medical industry and who looks just like you and give them those jobs, while at the same time there are people that look like you and I who don't get opportunities like that, but that money keeps circling in that community. But yet they're testing people that look like you and I to run their organization that makes them millions of dollars. And just, I find that interesting. But the last thing I'll say to you on this, man, is always, it is another interesting point to me that people always talk about welfare and people who are on welfare. But yet, when these same institutions and companies and organizations who then take from the government, who never pays it back in full, can look down their nose at people who are actually on welfare who really need it, because you were afraid, you ran your organization in the ground, or you were depending on money, right? You were depending on money in a particular season that didn't come through. So as a result, you now have your hand out, or you begging, or people should feel sorry for you. It's like what you said a few months ago when you were talking about, oh, I should, like people, like you were saying about the baseball owner. Oh, we really feel bad. Yeah, we should go do a fundraiser. We should do a GoFundMe for a billionaire owner. We should go do a GoFundMe for billionaire colleges and universities. Now, not all. I understand that.
Yep. I'm with you.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Keith, let me set the house on fire. Can I set the house on fire, Keith?
Absolutely, bro.
You talking my language now. I used to be a banker, and I used to be one of the people that signed off on loans at a certain dollar amount. Anything above that went to somebody else. And what blew my mind was the fact that you would have certain people who have failed at their business multiple times over, that we would find a way to give them money, watch this, that we generated off of people that look like you and me, who don't have as high as credit score as we think other people have. But watch this. There were certain other cultures that had lower credit scores, but they got the money from the fees that we charge to people who had lower credit scores, higher interest rates, higher, literally almost predatory rates. But we would take that money we made off of them and give it to other people who have consistently failed at returning that money or paying it back, or lost it because they filed multiple bankruptcies. That's why, brother, hear me what I say. I might not get the same great service that I get at other kind of banks, but I got my money in a black bank right now, and I'm glad to have it in a black bank right now. Why? I'd rather give the fees to them than to let somebody else use my fees and pay it to their friends, and I'm constantly being told no, and the only way I could get the money I need is by paying higher interest rates and da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da. And oh yeah, by the way, it never goes down.
Cue the musician, man. I'm about to have a shouting moment right now.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm not talking about what I heard. I'm not talking about what I read. Sir. I'm talking about what I would be in some of those lending meetings and financial meetings, and I would just be like, please don't let this show on my face, but this that bull right here.
That's exactly it, man. And that's my whole fun with these colleges and universities now. And that's the reason why I feel like right now, kids don't understand it. I think some of them get it, but until they unify, they will change the direction of how college football or how college sports are ran from this point on. Because and I promise you that there are a ton of presidents at all of these universities that are shaking in their boots right now.
Yep.
Because they are starting to understand, oh my gosh, so we were used to making $100 million a year. Now we're down to 31. I had somebody tell me that in my face the other day. Literally say to me, in my company, We are $150 million company. But because of this COVID, we are going to be only at 31 million. Only at 31 million.
Keith, brother.
But you pay me pennies on the dollar.
Listen to me, man. Pay attention to what they're saying right now, because a lot of them are saying the inside part outside.
Ooh, yes, sir. Yes, sir, brother. That's exactly what they're doing, man. And I'm going to tell you this last thing, bro. It's so amazing to me. Like when you looked at Michigan and you saw, and I keep saying this, but this is what I believe God is showing me. If you just pay attention, you're seeing people do who they really are.
Yeah, man.
They are who they really are.
Yeah.
And so what's interesting is like the people in Michigan, they were fighting to get back to work because the unemployment that they were getting were the wages that were way too low for them because their overhead did not meet their income.
Right.
Because you have lived above your means, right?
Right.
But people that look like you and I, we didn't have a problem, or most of us didn't have a problem with the unemployment. Don't get it twisted. We want to be at work. However, understand, this is our pay. Every dollar we make, you make 5 times more than that.
Yeah, yeah.
So the reason why you're upset and the reason why we're not upset is because we can still pay our bills while you can't. So you want to fight to get back to work and put everybody else in danger.
Bruh, that's why, again, we got to be 5 times better than other folks. But we've been used to making $1 out of 15 cents for a long time. So, a lot of folks don't like living like we live.
Yes, sir. We hustlers, man. We found a way to make it happen legally.
Yep.
Legally.
Keith, I appreciate you as always, man.
Yes, sir. God bless you, brother.
You too. All right, we'll be right back right after this on the lunch break.
One of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues. Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Be sure to tune in to Motivational Thursdays on Shiloh Radio, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., where you will be encouraged, inspired, and ignited on the legendary KYOK 1140 a.m. and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Hey, what's going on? This is Lecrae, and right now you're listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and man, I'm serious. I love when Keith calls up here because it's always a good conversation. So, And y'all keep my brother David. Remember David, the guy that ruined the little friendly that I had with my frat brother when I forget what happened. I think the something happened where somebody on the West Coast lost to somebody here in Houston, and we were all going to get In-N-Out burgers, and David called in and messed it up, and we didn't end up getting anything. And then when I was in New Orleans for the Saints and the Texans game, I went to this great restaurant, and David heard that I was there and showed up at the restaurant. Keep David in prayer. His father passed away in Baytown, and they just had the homegoing services recently. So keep Lunchbreaker David in prayer, and if you follow him or friends with him, make sure that you reach out to him. And we want to keep the Lunchbreakers in our prayers. All right, right now the Lakers and the Kings are going at it. It is 46-43 in the second quarter. Yesterday, the Rockets lost their second game in a row, this time 108-104 to the Indiana Pacers, in spite of James Harden, 45 points, 17 rebounds, and 9 assists. Now, I heard somebody tell me that the Rockets had locked up the number 4 seed in the West. I'm going to go to NBA.com because I don't trust nobody nowadays. It's Rona out there. People get confused with that Rona. So when I look at this, the way I see it now, I guess something I don't understand. The Rockets have won the Southwest Division. Oklahoma City has clinched a playoff spot. Oklahoma City is in number 4. The Rockets are in number 5. So maybe because the Rockets have won their division, the Rockets will be higher seeded than OKC. But here's the thing. As I think Todd said earlier, it doesn't matter about playoff seedings in this environment. It's not like they're going to bring Oklahoma City here and the Rockets and Oklahoma City are going to have to battle it out here. They're still going to be in Orlando, so the Rockets have to beat Oklahoma City 4 out of 7 games. 4 out of 7 games. And if Russell Westbrook is out for the beginning of that series, let's say he doesn't play in game 1 or game 2 or game 3, you still got 4 more games to play. But what that means is the Rockets could be trying to win 4 in a row. That rarely happens. That rarely happens in the NBA playoffs. I'm not saying that they'll be down 3-0. I'm just saying it's different. It's a different time than if you were actually having a home court advantage because you are the higher seed in the playoffs. The Rockets will close out tomorrow when they take on the Philadelphia 76ers at 8 o'clock, and more than likely the Rockets will rest players. Philadelphia is going to try and get Joel Embiid back healthy. I'm already hearing that he's going to be back ready to play. But all that being said, I'm just telling you, these playoffs are different. These playoffs are different. Right now, it would be the Lakers in Portland. It would be the Clippers in Dallas, Denver and Utah, and Rockets in Oklahoma City, whichever way you want to flip it. I'm not joking anymore. I'm not playing anymore. I'm not talking about Tom Herman and how he can rock the national championship and the Big 12 championship banner all in the same year for going 5-1 or 6-1, whatever, how many games they go play. You very well could see Portland, Dallas, Utah, and Oklahoma City in the second round of the playoffs. You very well could see them. It is wide open. Now, more than likely, the higher seeds will win. But it's just like when Chris Paul went down when the Rockets were up 3-2 against Golden State, and the Rockets legitimately had home court advantage. The Rockets could not pull it off. We don't know how the Rockets will play without Chris Paul, because you can say what you want, and I love him like he a brother. He just can't come to my house without calling first. James Harden ain't going to play the whole game of defense. He might turn it up in the third or the fourth quarter, but he's not going to play a whole game of defense. And James Harden does not have on his resume as the comeback kid. I have not seen James Harden lead the Rockets back in a best-of-7 series to the point where him by himself, have led them to a victory to another round of the playoffs. Remember when they got ousted by San Antonio a few years ago? Remember the multiple times that they got ousted by the Golden State Warriors? All I'm telling you is James Harden was the one constant. Russ Westbrook wasn't there. Chris Paul wasn't there. Other guys were not there. James Harden was, and he couldn't get it done. So all of a sudden, magically, because he went off into the mountains somewhere during the middle of Corona and he lost all this weight and he's got all the gray out of his beard, now all of a sudden he's enlightened and he's going to carry us to the promised land. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a Rocket fan and I can't believe that lie myself. I can't lie to myself. And I'm not going to believe the lie from you either. So the Rockets better get some help from Eric Gordon. They better get some help from Covington. They better get some help from Austin Rivers off the bench. They better get some help from Danuel House. And I got a rumor that Danuel House might be in trouble and might not get to play in the playoffs. There's an August surprise coming for Danuel House. I don't know, Rocket fans. I don't know. And Chris Paul has a chip on his shoulder, and he's playing with a lot of young players that don't know that they're not supposed to win. So I'm just calling it like I see him. Got to take a break. We'll come right back with more right after this. Hopefully my special guest will be joining on in just a little bit. All right, we'll be right back here on the lunch break, Throwback Thursday on the Legendary KYOK.
The Legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The Legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Radio stations in one.
You're home. You're a diabetic. You need supplies, but you don't want to visit the pharmacy. What do? Call US Med for home delivery of your supplies. If you have diabetes and you're worried about going to a crowded pharmacy, pick up the phone in the safety and comfort of your home and let US Med deliver them to you with free shipping. And now if you test your blood sugar 4 more times a day and inject insulin 3 or more times a day, you may qualify to get a new continuous glucose monitor at little or no cost, which may eliminate the pain of pricking your fingers and helps you make smarter diabetes decisions. Plus, we'll send you a 90-day supply and bill your insurance company for you. Get some peace of mind. Call US Med today.
800-417-0851. 800-417-0851. That's 800-417-0851.
How'd you like to eliminate your expensive cable bill forever or get new satellite internet where cable can't go? Well, now you can have affordable satellite internet service for a few dollars a day. All you need is a mini satellite installed, and you can have unlimited internet connections wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill.
800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. That's 800-712-8044.
Hi, I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
Hey, what's up? This is your boy James Fortune, and you are listening to The Lunch Break. Keep it locked.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and hey, I just want to make sure that everybody is doing all right out there. Make sure everybody is doing all right out there. So, 281-453-1000, 281-453-1000. If you think I'm wrong, then guess what? I want to hear from you. 281-453-1000, 281-453-1000. If you think I'm wrong about your Houston Rockets, I'll take that, but come get some. 281-453-1000 or text me 832-403-5005. That's 832-403-5005. 49ers and tight end George Kittle agreed to a 5-year, $75 million contract extension. I'm still trying to figure this out. When did George Kittle become a better tight end than Travis Kelce? Did y'all not see that Super Bowl? Was it me? Was it just on my television? I mean, if I had to pick a tight end of the playoffs, I'm not picking George Kittle. I mean, I'm not saying he's trash. But what is all the love with George Kittle all about when Travis Kelce is still alive and breathing and playing for, let me say it slow for some people, the defending Super Bowl champions of 2019. Did y'all not see that Houston Texans game where the Texans were up, was it 24-0? Did y'all not see Travis Kelce dog walking people in the secondary of the Houston Texans? I mean, the dude was unstoppable. And oh yeah, he kind of had a big game in the Super Bowl. I'm trying to figure out, what I missed. Somebody help me. What I miss? Are we boycotting Travis Kelce? Did I miss something? Did Travis Kelce say something bad about the Kappas or the Deltas or the A Phi A's or the Phi Beta Sigma? What I miss? Why are we talking about Travis Kelce like he's Robin to George Kittle's Batman? I mean, I'm just trying to figure it out. So George Kittle got a 5-year, $75 million extension that includes a significant amount of guaranteed money. I'm trying to find out what a guaranteed money is. $30 million of Kittle's contract will be guaranteed, with $40 million guaranteed overall. So $30 million of it he gets right now. Like, okay, I signed, where my money? They're giving him 30, and then he gets another $10 million of that guaranteed overall. All right. Okay. I got you. Where Travis Kelce money at? Where? I know what to do. Travis Kelce contract. I'll be right back. I'm looking at a Travis Kelce contract. Here we go. Travis Kelce signed a 5-year, $46.8 million contract with Kansas City, including $10 million signing bonus and $20 million guaranteed, an average of about $9.3 million. And he signed that in when? When did he sign that? Kelce is close to a 4-year extension with Casey. Willie, I should have known you knew. Willie, what you doing? Willie called me. Can you call me, Willie? I need to cut you a check. 281-453-1000. 281-453-1000. Travis Kelce signed his contract. He signed his contract when? It don't say when he signed it. Oh, okay. 2017. If I'm him, I need a raise. If I'm him, I just pick up my phone. I call the general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs, and I say, yo, it's Travis. I know, Travis. I know what you finna tell me. What am I going to tell you? I already know. I saw the George Kittle deal. All right, you got it? Yeah, I got it. I'm going to get back to you. Okay, bye. That's the end of this. That's the negotiation right there. That's the whole negotiation right there. Let me go to phone line. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this? Hello? Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
My name is Earl Watson. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Watson. How about you?
I'm doing great.
Are you Deshaun Watson's uncle or?
No.
Okay. I thought we had a breaking story here.
No. I would like to bring up the topic of the vanishing black quarterback.
Okay, well, hold on 1 second. Stay right there. Let me put you on hold for a second. Let me make sure that there's nobody there. And Mr. Watson, let me come back to you. So you'd like to bring up the topic of the vanishing black quarterback?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Watson, this is our first time talking. So I want to hear where you're coming from, because I feel like the black quarterbacks are now starting to not only appear, but they're starting to dominate when you look at Pat Mahomes.
I know. You have the
Russell
top
Wilson.
quarterbacks.
Okay, go ahead.
You have the top quarterbacks, but look at Cam Newton, number one. Look at Jameis Winston, number two.
Okay, so you're talking about from a money standpoint.
No, I'm talking about they're gonna be out the league in a little bit.
I see what you're saying now. I see, Mr. Watson. I see what you're saying. I hope you're wrong. I hope that Cam.
I hope I'm wrong too.
Yeah, I hope that Cam does well in New England and either turns that into a long-term situation there in New England, or that it will be a debut or a trial run for another team to hire him full time. Same thing with Jameis Winston. I hope that he does well in New Orleans as the backup quarterback and then gets an opportunity to play somewhere else after this year.
Well, you got to take, for instance, another instance. Jacoby Brissett in Indianapolis. They paid $25 million for 1 year for Phillip Rivers, who threw 20 interceptions, to replace a quarterback that threw 18 touchdowns with only 6 interceptions.
Now, Mr. Watson, you're not telling a fib now. You're telling the truth. In fact, that situation up in Indianapolis is borderline criminal. That situation where they brought in Phillip Rivers, who is at the lowest point of his career, to replace a young man who has not even reached the peak of his career, that one is almost criminal. I agree with you there.
Yeah. And don't be surprised if even the Texans make some kind of excuse. They're not going to pay him Deshaun Watson $30-something million to be their quarterback.
Now, Mr. Watson, I can't call you a fibber there either, because they're already starting to drop little nuggets about Deshaun. What's wrong? Well, he holds the ball too long, and maybe he's not reading the defenses as fast.
Yeah, that's a lot. They tell
and those things are all strategic. Those things are not being said randomly and by accident. You're right.
And Dak Prescott, this is last year in Dallas. That's why they got this guy from Cincinnati to replace him.
Well, I tell you what, I hope that you are wrong, and I mean it, because Dak is the man who should be in Dallas for 5, 10, more years. So I hope that you're wrong, but they have another chance to franchise him next season and at least one more time after that. I hope it doesn't come down to that. I hope they pay him his long-term money.
Well, they gonna come up with some excuse where he didn't do this, he didn't do that. People have been talking about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has not had a great year in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, he's been on the decline.
And they brought in a quarterback. All they talk about, how could they think he could replace Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, no, I Jordan Love, we're going to try and get him on the show. We're going to try and get that young man on the show, but I think he should be their quarterback of the future. And if Aaron Rodgers don't play well this season, guess what? sit his behind down and let's see what Jordan Love can do. That's what they do to the Dak Prescotts and the other, black quarterbacks that you're talking about. So I appreciate that.
And look at Philadelphia. They got all upset when they brought in the guy from Galena Park, quarterback up in Philadelphia.
Jalen Hurts. You're right. Jalen Hurts.
Carson Wentz is not declining and this and that.
Carson Wentz just gets hurt too much. He's overrated for me. So
yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And you look at it, the guy from University of Houston was a receiver that they say didn't have no receivers, but they didn't come alive till he got on the field.
Absolutely. Mr. Watson, I got to get my special guest on, but please do me a favor. Call us again, okay?
Yes, I sure will.
All right, I appreciate you. Very good call for Mr. Watson. And let me do this real quick. Hey, Willie, if that's you, man, I got my special guest here. Can we postpone our conversation for a second?
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Willie. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I've been trying to get her on. She had a little bit of bug. It was not Rona. She had a little bit of bug that stopped her from coming on. But without further ado, Kenesha Johnson, how you doing, dear?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now, where are you calling us from?
Right now I'm calling from Dallas, Texas.
Oh, you in Dallas?
Yes.
Are you a Cowboys fan? We were just talking about Dak Prescott.
No, you can see the background. My dad's diehard Redskin, so
Oh no.
I can't really.
I know that's your daddy, and I know you're a daddy's girl. But as a father, I'm just gonna tell you, we daddies ain't always right.
Yeah.
Are you a Washington fan too?
I watch football, but I'm not really a Redskins fan. I used to be a Palomalu fan, Steelers, and then retired. I kind of, But I do like
Your audio is messing up on me just a little bit. Let me see if I can put something right here. Hold on a second. All right, say something, Jim. Can you hear me? Y'all bear with us. We're trying to get the audio right on the second guest, Kenesha Johnson. She led track at Texas A&M Commerce. And now she's doing a whole lot of other things. So we're going to try to get the audio right so that we can have a great conversation with her here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK. And Willie, thank you for calling in, man. I appreciate you doing that. And for you being willing to jump in on us with us. Again, my question before Kenesha came on for Mr. Watson was about why all the love for the tight end of the the tight end for the San Francisco 49ers, George Kittle. And it's almost like they're overlooking Travis Kelce. And to me, right now in the game, Travis Kelce is the best tight end. I'm sorry, Kittle is like the new, you get something new, but you already had something that you really liked. And it's tried, true, and tested, but you got the newer version of it. He knew, but he ain't no Travis Kelce. Not yet. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. I think that if he gets he's already got it. George Kittle got that big money. If I'm Travis Kelce, man, I'm making a phone call to my agent. I'm making a phone call to the general manager. I'm making some phone calls, and they got to figure it out. They got to figure that out because, Travis Kelce should not be paid lower than any tight end in the game right now. And I know these things, it's all on who signs first. They get the biggest contract for tight ends, and then the next person's contract is bigger. They get the biggest contracts for tight ends. But George Kittle is not better than Travis Kelce. Not yet. I'll have to get my friend Emmanuel Williams on. He's the biggest 49ers fan that I know. I'll have to get him on one of these days, and he can kind of try to convince me that George Kittle is worth all that money. So let me get ready to take a break, and we'll come back. Kenesha's coming on. After this break, we'll get her on right here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Y'all stay right there. Y'all gonna fall in love with this young lady, I promise you. All right, we'll do that right after this.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author, motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole.
I don't know what that was.
Every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment. Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure.
How?
Kanisha, how'd your dad get to be a Washington fan?
We will buy it.
He's originally from Richmond.
Okay.
So
Over the phone.
yeah.
Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
And you were born where?
780
North Carolina, Winston-Salem.
431.
You're a tobacco row baby.
780-1431. That's 800-780-1431.
All right, step out. This will be the last one.
Okay.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. That's 800-308-6729.
Beautiful people, this is Major. This is why I love you on the lunch break.
All right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Throwback Thursday, and we got our special guest back with us. It is none other than Kanisha Johnson. And first of all, thank you for making the time. I know you had a busy day, and you worked us in, so I appreciate that. But tell everybody about where you're from, where were you born, and where did you end up for college?
Okay, yeah. So originally I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I've been in Dallas for almost, I would say, about since elementary school. So I've been out here for a while.
Okay, where did you go to high school in Dallas?
Well, it's pretty much like when you say Dallas, I'm like on the outskirts of Dallas. So I'm in Little I don't know if you're familiar with that, Little Frisco area.
Sure, absolutely.
But yeah, so we're like on the little outskirts, but yes. So, and I did go to Texas A&M University Commerce, which was formerly known as East Texas State. And I went out there back in 2010. I graduated from high school in 2010, and I went to Commerce.
And while you were at Commerce, what did you do athletically?
Yes, so I did receive a scholarship to run with Texas A&M University, which was like one of the best opportunities I've ever had athletic wise. I've been running track since I was about 5 years old. So,
really?
Yes. So, there's no off seasons for me. I ran summer through summer track, then, from summer, through school track, when I was eligible for that. So, yes. So that's
what's up. Now, what were your the events that you ran?
Yeah, so I pretty much, what's funny is, as you know, when I was younger, I ran more like 800 meters. I started off doing the 800, which kind of helped me endurance-wise in the 400 as I got a little bit older. And then I kind of became like a sprinter. As, I got into like the high school years, I started running the 200, the 1, the 4, and then the 4x4 and the 4x1. So
that's what's
pretty much
as somebody who ran track, that's something, because most people that are distance runners, which 800 is right, the cusp of the 800th mile, what have you. Those are the distance races. But you were able to come out of that category down into the sprints. Did you always feel like you were a sprinter?
I can't explain it. I mean, it's just something I like kind of tried out, in practice and stuff, as, I guess as the years went by, my endurance started, picking up a little bit more. And then my stride, I have a really long stride for my height. I'm 4'11", so that's another thing. So it just kind of came about that I just became a sprinter as the years went by, and I just went along with it. So
we got Kanisha Johnson joining us. She's a former collegiate track star. I'm gonna throw star on there. Ran for in the AM system, and again was able to run sprints and what have you. What was your favorite race?
I would say the 200. The 200 and the 100 started, being my favorite race in the 4-hour, and of course the relay. I ran the first leg, so I got us out, got us on a good start. So I would say with sprints were my favorite races. So I was good in the 400, but that 400, when you get towards the end, it's like, so.
Look, I told you when we were communicating, that 400 is a grown-up race. That one time with everything you got around the track, let me tell you, that gorilla got on my back a couple of times on that back stretch, believe me.
Yes. No, it's very tough. So
any people of note that you ran against, or who were your motivations when you were running track? Who did you kind of look up to and want to make sure you had that kind of success?
Yeah, I actually wanted to run the Olympics, and what's funny is everyone from my hometown always said, like, oh, we're going to see you in the 2020, 2025 Olympics, so they always, supported me on that aspect. I would say Zion Richards and Allison Felix, that was around the time when I was, at that age, and they were out, competing at that time. So they were pretty much, like who I looked up to. So
now Sonia's from that area, or she lived in the Dallas area for a while, didn't she?
I believe she did. Yes,
Okay.
she did. Because I remember seeing her compete at Texas Relays one year. And I would go to Texas Relays every year, we were eligible. And I did actually run in Texas Relays a couple times as well. So
I got you. We got Kanisha Johnson joining us. She's a former collegiate track athlete, and talking about her, those she looked up to. Allison Felix is still running. I mean, she's still running and looking good, and it really looks like she could, bring home some more gold if she qualifies.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
I love Allison.
All right, so that was the track life.
Yes.
At some point, you transitioned into a totally different field. Tell us about that.
Yes, so I actually started, I would say, pursuing modeling my freshman year in college. So I kind of was doing both at that time. I was running track and modeling. But unfortunately, with the time management, in college, being a collegiate athlete, you have to kind of choose that one, priority. So of course I chose track because that's what, brought me there as far as career-wise and education. So so I'm actually just kind of getting back into modeling. I just started back really about maybe 2 years ago, and I just kind of put my dedication and everything into that, and so here I am.
Now that's an interesting change from track to modeling, and I can kind of see it since it's something that you literally have been doing since your freshman year. But what are some of the differences and what are some of the similarities? Is it as competitive as when you're out there on the track? Tell us about that.
I would say it is, just because, height-wise, I'm 4'11", so modeling, they look for the 5'7", 6 feet models, just that's the industry, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit more competitive because, you're not that height. But I'm trying to kind of change the game a little bit, just showing you, you don't have to be tall to be a model, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to, demonstrate and encourage others, to kind of beat that stigmatism, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much, where I'm at right now and where I'm trying to go. So
Kanisha Johnson, again, joining us here on the lunch break. And I love that because think about it. Not every woman is 5'7". Not every woman is 5'8", 5'9", 6 feet. And I just learned, listen, I was only like a year older, a year younger when I realized that, models, they don't want you to be too tall either. So 6'1", 6'2", sometimes they don't want you there either. So how does a shorter woman, see the fashions that she might be interested if you don't have any 4'11" or 5 feet models?
So usually, like with where I'm kind of going towards is like the commercial part of modeling, like makeup, skin care, things like that. More, like face model, if that makes sense. So
Okay.
more commercial, just because I've never been interested in runway, just because my height and things like that. But I feel more comfortable doing commercial, and I would encourage others to look into that aspect if they are interested in modeling and they don't have that that height aspect.
Now, did somebody approach you and say, hey, would you like to be a model? And if they did you believe that they were serious or that they were just trying to holler?
It goes on both aspects. Like it's yeah, I've always heard, other people, like, are you, some people would, come out to me, reach out to me and, ask, are you a model? And, I'm like, yes, but I'm still, I'm not commercial. I'm not big, I'm just upcoming and following my dream and my path. So, but yeah, I have had some people, ask if I'm a model. Some people say, oh my gosh, you should model. Have you ever thought of modeling? So I've heard, that as well, without even telling people, my story. So that kind of just motivated me as well, because, it's like, okay, well, maybe I should look into this and put, that motivation, determination in that.
Kanisha Johnson's joining us here. She's a former collegiate track athlete. She's now modeling, 4'11", and I mean it, just getting it in. Kanisha, how does somebody get started? Do they need a portfolio? Do they need headshots? Because sometimes I know you go to these open calls or whatever, and they really want to sell their training or their photographers. How do you get started? What's the best way to do it?
Yeah, so a lot of it, what I'm learning is about networking, networking with different, like even just in the entertainment industry. Even if you're a model, you can always, kind of move in other aspects, as far as acting, things like that. So I'm also kind of looking into acting as well, so not just modeling in itself, but, it kind of goes hand in hand. So I would say networking is a big thing, focusing on, just how to, different poses, it's a lot harder than everybody, thinks it is, believe it or not. So it takes some time for you to get comfortable with yourself and, be happy with who you are.
Absolutely. Now, do you recommend somebody tries to go out and catch on with an agency right away, or should they, like you said, network in a different direction since you're changing the game?
Yeah, so no, basically the main goal is getting signed with the agency. You know what I mean? So in order to get to that extent, you have to get that exposure, to be seen. I would, definitely start a portfolio if you can, get, network with some really great photographers, who have quality work. You can't work with everyone, you know what I mean? Especially if you have a unique look. So, you kind of have to pay attention to that as well, because there are some out there that, want to shoot you, but they're not really, in that industry. They're kind of just starting out. So if you want to be taken serious, you have to kind of get out there and work with people who are credible.
Is it an expensive industry for somebody who's trying to break into it? Because obviously you got to pay the photographer, and then obviously you got to pay for outfits and I guess locations and travel and all that. Tell us about how the expense end of it could be.
Yeah, so I do have a manager. I have 2 managers currently right now, and they do work on my behalf. So, if something comes up, they'll send me out, they'll send me to they'll send submissions to agencies and things like that. It's pretty much, it's like a business, you know what I mean? So it's an industry, and it can be a little bit hard to get out there. But if you keep, focusing on it, you'll get where you need to be.
Did you ever think about going overseas and running track? Because obviously they pay a lot more money overseas for track athletes than we even, can imagine here.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever have that pull of maybe I need to focus on this and go make me some money rather than doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I actually did. I'm actually thinking about maybe training again soon. I am thinking about that. It's just mental, you have to get in that mental space to be able to get out there on the track and do that. So it's been a couple of years, since I've been on there. So
and all that for modeling than trying to get back in shape for track, huh?
Yes. Yeah. So it kind of goes hand in hand. So whichever one comes first, I'm going for it full force.
What kind of support do you have from your family and closest friends? I know you have a little sister that's taller than you.
Oh, yes.
And you know what? You chilled my soul. You said, I will fight you over this one right here. Tell us about what kind of support you have from your family and friends.
Yes, no, my family, they're very supportive. They're amazing, and that's really what it is all about. You have, a good support system. It kind of lets you know, okay, I can do this, you know what I mean? And it helps a lot, as far as encouragement. So no, my family is 100% fully supportive. If I want to run track, they're like, go for it. If I want to model, they're like, go for it. You'll do good in either one. So, it's just one of those things. It's like, which one I really want to, do. But no, they're amazing.
And, I'm gonna let you go after this. So we see some of the big programs that are canceling sports for a while, fall sports. How would you have handled it if you were at A&M Commerce and you got word that you're not going to be able to run because of COVID-19? Would you feel like I want to run, or would you realize, hey, they're trying to protect me from something that I can't control?
Yeah, no, I would definitely be upset because that's what I went to school for, you know what I mean? And track is one of those things like a love-hate relationship in a way, because it's just like when you get on the track, it's nerve-wracking, you know what I mean? It's one of those things that it means so much to you that you want to do it, but then you're like, I could, I'd rather be at home and rest up, But I mean, it's just one of those things, when you're in that mental state, you're focused. So I would definitely be upset. But I also, with respect of what they're trying to do as far as safety measures, I definitely think they're doing a good job with that. And then with my sister, she is in school for volleyball right now. So she's training right now. She went to Kansas at Lebec Community College. So she's out there right now. So, we're just trying to see how she's going to do next year as well. So.
That's what's up. Yeah, we have to get her on too. We can't let big sister get all the shine and big little sister not get any run.
Oh, no.
Which one would you say is harder for you, track or modeling?
I mean, I would say neither one of them is really harder. Really, it's, as far as my focus, if it's something that I want to do and I know I want to do it, I'm going to put all 100% effort in it. So eventually, that energy is going to come back to me just because I'm putting that, effort in. So I wouldn't say one or other is the hardest. Track probably be a little bit hard to get back into just because, getting in shape and all of that. That's like I said, all mental. But if you want to do it, you get out there and go after it.
Kanisha, I love that. And again, we love your passion and your attitude. What we just saw the other day with Kamala Harris being the first Black woman to be a major party's vice president candidate. It's like, the sisters are changing the game right now. And the young people are out there changing the world right now with justice protests. So we believe nothing but the best for you. Tell everybody where they can find you and follow you and all the great stuff that you're doing.
So you guys can follow me on Facebook, Kanisha Johnson. You can follow me on Instagram. It's at NYCHH_niche. If you guys want to support. Also, if you guys have any questions, you can always, contact me. I'm here to help. So.
Well, Kanisha, you got to stay in touch with us. So when things break, when you get that big modeling assignment or when you get that first motion picture assignment, you got to come back and let us know so we can support you. All right?
No, thank you so much for having me, and I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, and thank you for working it in today. I really appreciate you.
No problem.
Y'all, Kanisha Johnson, again, I put up in the body of the program what her Instagram account is. I'll tag that for y'all again, but y'all be sure to follow her. And like she said, drop a little support in there because she tried to make it happen. So, Kanisha, thank you again, dear.
Thank you. Y'all take care.
All right, y'all. Hey, we got to get ready to go. Donnie McClurkin is up next with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music and the latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does his thing every Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. And then, of course, in the morning, you got Erica Campbell and Griff. Get up morning, 6 a.m. to 9. And then your boy will be back with Freestyle Friday. And I've got some great guests for tomorrow, just like we had today. I want to thank Dee Williams for being on early. I want to thank Kanisha Johnson for coming in. And thank you, Willie Gibson and Todd and Keith for calling in. We really appreciate you guys. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it except wear your mask, wash your hands for 30 seconds or more, sanitize everything around you, and be sensitive to everybody around you. And when you see that racism, kill it. Not the person, the racism. Y'all be blessed.
1140 AM KYOK Conroe and 92.3 FM K222CX Houston. Are you ready?
All right, y'all. Hey, man, I loved that. Both of them are amazing young ladies that are doing great, great things. So y'all do me a favor and look out for those young ladies. Follow them. I think I've got their information in the body of the show. So do me a favor, y'all. Take them in like you take all the other lunch breakers in. Show them some love, and I really appreciate you. And both of them made time to be on the show today. I've got some great guests lined up for tomorrow, so be sure and come back then. But you know the deal. Not this, definitely this. I love you. Hey, let me tell you about this today. So today, on this day back in 1920, the African American liberation flag was introduced. Do some homework on that. Understand what the red means, understand what the black means, understand what the green means. But this is the day back in 1920 that this flag was introduced, and I had to rock it because I'm learning about my history, the real truth about my history. So y'all take care. Y'all be blessed. I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all lunch breakers. We'll see y'all tomorrow, okay?